In this presentation, we're going to see how to create charts for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. We'll do it from the table, starting simple. Then we see how it works with multiple measures, 3D charts, and then we'll do it from queries. Let's have a look at two existing charts that we've done before. Top items, top customers. That's what we're going to do. And that's different from these two trailing sales order. That's generic but more advanced charts, and the other one is a custom. So to include a chart in the home page, we need to go to the home screen and customize this page. Choose the chart part. Let's move it left and up. And we do customize part, and here we can select one of the existing charts. So you can see some of them start with a T for table and others with a Q for query, but we can give the name we want. Alright, so we've chosen one customer per salesperson. We're going to recreate it and to see. We're going to try to recreate that. So we go to generic charts on the search. Okay, and we're going to do one from a table to start with. So we create a new. Here I'm giving my another name instead of starting with T for table, and I'm going to choose the table. So the initial table is the customer table, and I want to display the y-axis and the x-axis. So on the X, I would like to see the salesperson. So we see all the fields of the customer table, and we need to find the salesperson. Here it is. Okay, we can change the caption. So just salesperson, or well, sales rep. Let's call it sales rep. And we want to display how many customers, so just a simple count. No filter. Okay. How many customers per sales rep? And we change our chart to put the one that we've just created. Okay. So here it is. Simple chart from a table counting the numbers. Now we're going to see some different and more advanced with filtering, multiple units, and 3D. So but just before that, we can change the appearance, the look and feel of the chart. Instead of a column, I could choose, for example, a pie chart. And I could also, let's filter it. Let's say I don't want to display the customers that are blocked. I consider that it's no use counting them. So here I've put a blank for block, and I could also put a date filter. So I just want to say the customers that have been selling something this year or in the year 2014. So I put a date filter for 2014, and I'm going to filter on the sales. I want sales greater than 0. So just refining a bit the chart with some filter and with a look and feel of a pie. Oh, here it is. Now let's go back to the chart and change it a bit. And instead of counting the number of customers, what if we want to have to see the sales? So we're changing the pie back to the column, and we want not to count but to sum the sales. I can change the caption, and what I'll do, I'll put a second measure. I would like to see the profit, so it's a sum as well, and let's call it the margin. So we come back again to the home screen. We need to refresh to get the new version, and we see the two measures, sales and margin. Let's go back now and say we want to see the 3D charts. So far the z-axis is grayed out because we have two measures. So what I'll do, I just get rid of the second measure, and now the z-axis is not grayed out anymore. And I can choose something. So let's refresh. And now we have it by customer also. So salesperson, customers. So maybe it's many customers. Let's see how it works with queries. So instead of working with tables, we're going to have a look at the second option, queries. So we go into the NAV development environment and call the new object as a query, which is accessible from with a customer license. So a customer can do it. It's a bit more advanced, but still possible. Here I'm starting from the item ledger entry table because I want to have the item number, source number, and that's the customer number. Let's add a few things, salesperson, and I don't have the salesperson here. So far, I'm not going to do it. I'll find we'll see how to do that a bit later. And let's add the sales and the cost. That are two fields here. Cost, actual and expected. Okay, and sales and cost are totals. We want to make the query to make a total out of it. And we get the date as well. Okay. One more thing to do before. We don't want to see all the item ledger entries. We're going to filter them just for the sales. So system nav check that is the right option. Okay. So far, a bit like the table, That is to say, we're just looking at one table, the item, but the item ledger entry with a selection of fields. Okay, sales by customer and sales rep. So we don't have the sales rep so far, and we do that later. Let's, however, start with this simple query. So we create a new chart. Test query. And here we select the query source type. With a new query we've created, we can call it. Okay, and a bit like we did before, the x-axis will be, so far we put the location, we don't have the sales rep. So let's start like that. And we put just one measure, the sales. And we see how it goes. Okay, let's call now the chart we just created. And we have it by sales by location. So that's not exactly what we want, so we're going to refine that. So we couldn't do it because we didn't have the salesperson on the customer ledger, on the item ledger entry table. So what we need to do, and what we can do with queries, is to add another table, customer, and here on the customer table we can find the salesperson. How is the customer related to the customer table related to the item ledger entry? That's what we're going to define here. So the customer number relates in the item ledger entries to the source number. And that's all we need to do. So now if we go back to our chart and change it a bit, so we don't want to see the location, that's the salesperson we want to see. Yep, the salesperson code. So our chart, let's change it a bit. The x-axis is going to be the salesperson. So now we see the salesperson. Alright, so here if we want to go a bit further, we could say that the third axis could be, what do we have? Item number? What? Let's put a third. So because we are not on the customer table as we were before, we can have the details also per item. It's a bit crowded here, too many items, so we'd better have some grouping on the items. So we can refine the query, add a new table, item table, and put some grouping. So a field for like the item category, for example, is a good candidate. And now the item table relates to the item tables, the item number relates to the item ledger entry table and the item number on the item ledger entry table. Okay, good. Query has been changed a little bit. Let's modify the chart. Because it was too crowded with the items, so instead we're going to have the item category. There are some limitations with the generic chart. You can't drill down, and so let's see now. Alright, much better, isn't it?